Sometimes, the world only sees the spotlight, the fame, the applause, the glamorous outcomes. But behind every success, there's a story the lights don't show. Jared Leto's story begins not in privilege, but in persistence. Born in Louisiana and raised by a single mother who struggled to make ends meet, he learned early that art was more than entertainment. It was survival. His childhood was scattered across small towns and temporary homes. But within that chaos, his mother planted a belief creativity could build a bridge out of hardship. She taught him that imagination was a kind of freedom, that even when the fridge was empty, their minds could still be full of color and sound. That idea shaped the boy who would one day become one of Hollywood's most unpredictable artists. In his teenage years, Jared drifted, searching for purpose. There were wrong turns, broken schools, and a sense of being lost in a world that didn't seem to have a place for dreams. But that restless energy became his compass. When he discovered art and music, expression gave structure to his chaos. He began to paint, to write. It wasn't about attention, it was about identity. He would later say that you might as well take a chance on doing what you love, because playing it safe is the surest way to fail without even trying. Those weren't words from a comfortable man. They came from someone who had risked everything simply to feel alive. When Jared moved to Los Angeles, he had almost nothing. No connections, no money, only a vision that he refused to let. The city was brutal. He slept in cheap apartments, skipped meals, and carried rejection after rejection like invisible scars. But he didn't complain. He learned to turn no into fuel, to see struggle as a test of. Acting was his dream, but it wasn't about fame. It was about transformation. He wanted to understand people, to live 100 lives within one. When the world told him he wasn't ready, he stayed ready anyway. Then slowly the doors began to open. Small roles turned into memorable. When he appeared in My So-Called Life, audiences noticed something different, an authenticity that couldn't be faked. Yet even as the industry tried to typecast him as a heartthrob, he resisted. He didn't want comfort, he dove into difficult characters, people broken, misunderstood. In Requiem for a Dream, he descended into addiction and despair so completely that it haunted him long after the camera. To some, it looked like madness. To Jared, it was honesty. Great art, he believed, demanded everything. But acting was only half of his heart. With his brother Shannon, he formed 30 Seconds to Mars, a band born not out of fame, but of necessity. Music was where his soul went when words failed. They began from nothing. Tiny venues, skeptical crowds, constant travel in a beat-up van. Labels ignored them, critics dismissed them. Yet every night they played as if the world was listening.